Hi everybody, welcome out to the Dice Tower. My name's Chris Yee.
I'm Joey Evans.
And today we're taking a look at this little card game here from Devere, Blind Business.
Yes.
This is themed around...
Cuphead.
Well, yes, if he was trying to bash a piñata open.
And he would.
How much does this little card game feel like you're actually bashing open a piñata?
Oh, no.
Not at all.
No.
But it's an interesting little card game. We're going to show you how it plays, and then we'll give you our thoughts. Okay. Here's an example setup of Blind Business. This is a card game in which players will have 4 cards in hand facing away from themselves. So I can't see what cards I have in hand, but my other opponents can. You'll have to imagine that these are players on my left holding a hand of cards so that they can't see it, and a player on my right doing the same thing. I can see what they have, and I'm trying to collect certain sets of cards to win the game. There are 2 ways to win the game, the first of which is to have 5 cards in numerical order, 1 through 5 or 3 through 7, of the same color in front of me, and you see that there are 4 colors, green, yellow, blue, and red. The other thing is that if players do not reach that by the time the deck of cards runs out, then you're going to multiply the cards that you have in front of you for points. I'll explain that after we have a few cards set up. So what does an average turn look like? Well, you'll turn to one of your player references here. That's going to show you the way that the game plays out. You'll note that there are 2 player reference cards. They're both double-sided, and there are enough that come in the game for every player. And not only that, there's enough that come in the game for every player. 5 players in 5 languages, 2 cards each. There are more player aid reference cards in here than there are main deck cards, for which, hey, I applaud Devere. Good job actually providing all of that. So, what does an average turn look like? Well, this player aid here says playing the game. I, as the active player, with the active player card, can look at my opponents and choose one card, and I say, I would like to trade for this card. I'll tap that card and they might lift it up, and they can at this point either accept or reject. There's 3 possibilities that will happen. First possibility, this player rejects the offer, does not allow me to take this card. They will instead take this card, play it in front of themselves for their own endgame scoring, and then I get to grab any other card that they have and place it in front of me for scoring. They would then draw back up 2 cards. So that's the first possibility. Second possibility, if I had asked for this card here, they can choose to accept it and then say, but I would like this card in return. I can now either accept it, and then we would trade. I give them this card, and I get this card in return. Or the third possibility, after everybody draws back up, the third possibility would be to say, hey, I am looking for this card here. The person says, hey, I would like this card here, and I could reject the offer. They would keep this card themselves, and I would get whatever card this is from hand. So those are the 3 possibilities. I make an offer, and it's an accept, reject. If it's an accept, they make a counter offer, accept, reject. It's a little bit odd, but that's just the flow of the game. Each player then takes turns being the active player, making the deals, and going around, redrawing cards until the deck of cards has run out. Now, once players have cards in front of them, as soon as they play them, they will also activate special abilities, which is on the second player aid reference right over here. So, for example, if you play out a 1 in front of you, this is going to potentially be an extra multiplier at the end of the game. 2s allow you to grab an OK card. This is a card that will you'll hold on to, and it can be used at any point when you are making a negotiation saying, I would like this card, and you have to accept it. And then the other person can continue, but having to accept or go along with your trade. 3s here are going to allow you, after drawing, to switch hands with another player. I know what cards this player has. I'm tired of not knowing what's in my own hand. So I'll take these cards, look at them, shuffle them up, so I don't know what order my cards are in, but I do know what I have in hand. 4s are going to allow players to peek at their own hand of cards and then shuffle them up. 5s are going to be part of a set collection. If you have a 5 and a 6 of the same color, the lovers, at the end of the game, that's going to be worth a bonus 5 points if it goes to points instead of the instant win condition. The 7, 8, and 9 all have to be of the same color, but are worth 10 bonus points if you have them. If you play a 10 in front of you as part of any of these negotiations or trades, it says if you have the single most cards in front of you, you have to discard one of them and lose them. If you play an 11, if you have the single most or are tied for most cards in front of you, you then also have to discard a card. Then there are these asterisk cards, which are any number, and so they can be used to fulfill a sequence. So, for example, 1, wild, 2, 3, and now I'm looking for that 3, 4, to get that instant win. But what about points? If no one gets the instant win by the time the deck of cards runs out, then you're going to do a few things. You're going to calculate your score at the end of the game based on how many cards you have in each color multiplied by your highest value in that color. So if this was the end game state here for me, then I would have 9 points in red times 2, because my highest card multiplied by the number of cards I have in that suit. This would be 6 times 1, and this would be 11 multiplied by 5. Because a wild card here does not have a numerical value, this is going to be worth no points for me at the end of the game. And so then everybody compares what their hand total is. So you either win by getting 5 in a row of the same color, or by having the highest multiplied points at the end of the game. Oh, I should note, I have this card here, so this isn't 11 times 5, this is 11 times 6, which is what this special power here is. Now, on the reverse side of this play array, there's also an optional extra rule you can play with, where the player who has the majority of each colors gets a different bonus at the end of the game, extra points, the ability to take any one of their cards that they wish out of their hand here and play it out for scoring purposes. And then pairs of reds and blue cards are also going to be worth additional points. So that is how you play Blind Business. Joey, at the beginning, you said Cuphead, right?
I did.
Because that's what this, what do they call it? Noodle arm, old school animation?
Yes.
That's like the easiest
Early Disney.
touchstone point, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I really love the art in this.
I do too, and that's what kind of... art doesn't really match the game. The game has a lot more thought into it.
Sure.
But I love the fact they put this artwork on this game.
Because it could be anything.
It really could be.
It could have just been numbered cards, you know. It could be an Uno deck. And so I like the extra touch that they went with to make it look really nice, and it's that style that a few games have been using that I always find very enticing.
And it would have been nearly as fun if they would have went with some sort of odd, generic, just number thing.
Right. The piñata part of it, I don't really feel it. If you get the 5 in a row, that means you got like the perfect strike on the piñata, I guess.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, but yeah.
Right. But it doesn't bother me at all.
No.
They went with a theme, and it could have had none, so cool. What do you think of the whole... It's not an I split you choose, it's more of a... it's kind of a double bluff. It's a double bluff.
I really like it, and I didn't know if I would. Like bluffing... social deduction are hit or miss for me, but this one is more of a Princess Bride. I know you're going to choose one in front of me, so you're going to choose. It's that type of mechanic, which I really like, because you can also shoot yourself in the foot if you are like, look, I really want that card, but I'm not going to say I want that card because you think I'm going to pick the one I want, so I'm going to actually pick this one. And if they then decide to give you the one you don't want and take the one you want, there's so many mind games going through there. I really enjoy. That's my favorite part of this game.
Yeah, and my least favorite part of the game, to be completely forthright, is explaining that concept. I hope that in the overview it made sense, and if it didn't, then Joey's explanation surely helped. But that's what's going on through your mind every time. That was a little jab at you.
Everyone's a jab. But how many times have you taught this, and the first thing people do is pick up their cards and look at them?
Yes.
That's what you do when you grab a card game.
Right. There's enough games that do that where you have to face them a way that I've gotten used to it.
Right.
But even every once in a while I draw a card and I'm like, well, I'm going to shuffle that back in.
Yes.
But no, I really enjoy the double bluff type of a thing. And I was caught off guard reading it the first time that it's not just one direction. Once you accept or reject, then you put the onus back on me by selecting a card.
Which is interesting. I didn't think that would work as well as it does, because it's almost like you can't take it if you've already passed. But it's that kind of mechanic where it's like, well, you've already said you accept, but now all of a sudden I don't accept because I've realized how quick you grabbed that card in front of me, like that's the one you wanted the whole time.
Right.
You know?
And so you have to read into those little things. Like, how excited is a person to say, this card here? Or are they actually just playing that up on purpose. And so it's one of those games where you kind of lose trust in every single person immediately. Someone that you have been best friends with for 30 years, as soon as they touch a card, you're like, you suck and I hate it.
Now, what do you think about the iconography, like the icons of the card powers? Do you think they add that much to it?
They add to the rules teach. They add that much. But I do like them. I like that at some point you can say, oh, I get to look at my hand of cards, shuffle it back up so I don't know the order they're in, but I get to know what's in there. You don't always, in fact, you seldom do. So that's a nice little moment where for a few turns at least, you're like, I know you want that blue 9. You're not getting it.
That's the thing. It's like this is made up of nice moments. Like when you get to look at your card for the first time, your hand, and then you hand it off to somebody else or whatever. That's a nice moment. It's also a nice moment when you do that blind grab of a card. It's like, okay, I let you have that one. Let's see what it is. And you see if that's one they wanted or, aha, they grabbed it because they thought you wanted it. There's several nice moments in this that bring the whole game together that I really enjoy.
Nice moments is a good explanation because it doesn't necessarily have like a big arc to it. It's not a game that builds upon itself.
No.
But it's just nice moment after nice moment after nice moment. So occasionally you have a turn where like this card and the person like this card. And you're like, yeah, sure. Well, nothing that exciting happened, but at least you still get cards out of it. But the first time that you're able to pull it off where you say, hey, you tap on this card and that person says no. And they pick it down, they slam it down in front of themselves, and it's a sucky card.
That's great.
Yeah, and then you get to grab one of the other ones, the one that you actually wanted. That's a great moment. That's probably my favorite in this game.
It is. And I will tell you, I like, the win condition of being able to get that run. It's really difficult, especially with imperfect information when some of those cards are out. But then I also like how the other one, you're going to go ahead and go for just one full color. And you start to really negate what they want. Like you say, I don't want you to have any more blue cards.
Right.
So I want to bring that to me. Or I don't want you to have the green 6. I don't need it, but you can't get it or you're going to win. So do I point that out and hope that, that's kind of almost tension. It's weird to say tension in the game, but there's that tension when it's like, you need the green 6 to win. But I could take that away from you if I just point at it and make myself look like I really want it. But if you decline and just put it down, the game's over.
Right. Yeah, so you can play it safe by never, ever picking it on that person.
Right.
And that works until they swap hands with someone else. And that's the thing, is the game's always in constant flux.
Right.
And so in that sense, is it like a bunch of people fighting over a piñata? A little bit more. Maybe that's what it's going for, the chaos of like, I want to be the one to get out of the way. I'm hitting it now.
Yeah, I agree. And then I think the iconography will slow you down at the beginning too.
Yes.
Reading, it's like, what does this mean? But then it does it has some clarity once you know what it means. Seeing the second, third time.
Huge thumbs up for the amount of player aids in this box. That half this box is player aids.
It's insane. I think we laughed so hard the first time we thought, wow, they have it covered. Right here.
They do. But you know what? And I did a separate video about language-independent iconography. I'm fine with that because it fits with this one. You memorize what the symbols do pretty quickly. So it works. I think it's fine. How would you come down on final scoring on this one?
This one I like more than I thought I would because it is what it is. It's a very simple game. It plays well with 2. It's really quick, back and forth.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd like it at 2, and it's still good.
It is still good. Now, it's a different game, I feel like, at 2 than it is a higher player count. But I still enjoy it. So this one, I'm coming at a 7.5 because I do enjoy this. I think this is a great travel game. It doesn't take up much space in front of you, and I like the different paths you can go in the game. If you see you're not going a different direction, you just have to make sure they don't win until you get that final scoring. I like that type of roller coaster. Or piñata.
I'm in full agreement, including down to the score. I'm giving this one a 7.5.
Nice.
I think this is, it earns a seal of approval because for a game that I thought would be messy, it worked. As soon as people understand the flow of it, the game just keeps moving. It's pretty quick. Doesn't outstay its welcome. If you play at lower player counts, you remove some cards, so you have that imperfect information. If you play with a full player count, all the cards are in there, but it's going to be more hectic and hard to get the things that you specifically want. So I think it scales well as well. And I don't know if I have a favorite player count, but maybe 4, because you're sometimes getting picked, but not all the time. And so there's a few rounds where you're like, whew, I'm breathing. You see someone draw a card you want, and you're like, I'm coming up next, so how do I get that card?
And that whole
it's good.
poker face thing is incredible in the fact that, I mean, with 2, it's hard enough, but with 4, everyone knows the card you need. So if one person puts it on there, you can't make a face, and you got to hope the other 2 people don't go, oh, that's what he needs. You know, it's like there's so many other factors. You're like, I might just shut up. He's got it. You know, and you have to do the whole. That's when you're like, you know what? I'll just go ahead and I'll take that one. It is just, I really like that.
I agree. So from a company that I enjoy, DeVere, a first-time designer, Andrew Roy, I think that they did a great job. So yeah,
Fantastic.
we're giving a seal of approval, 7.5 from both of us here. So thanks for coming by this review here on the Dice Tower. I'm Chris Yee.
I'm Joe Evans.
Have fun double bluffing the double bluff.
And I'll take that one. No, that one.